What's up, everybody? This is Matt DeMarinis from White and Blue Review, bringing you another Creighton commentary. Today we've got Saunsoci, Chevy, whatever she wants to go by, assistant coach or soon to be. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then obviously 2020 Big East Player of the Year, Jaylyn Agnew. We're here to relive the senior day game against Georgetown this year, where Jaylyn lit up the box score and broke all the records in Creighton history and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this should be a fun one. First of all, I guess Chev, Jaylyn, we got Glen Sisk on here too. I don't know if he wants to talk. He didn't want to talk last time, but he ended up doing it anyway. How you guys all doing?
Doing awesome. I'm really good. Thanks.
I'm doing good. Just working out, finishing school.
Yeah, how's the master's?
I turned in my long paper. So I'm off the hook with that. I just have one more assignment and then I'm donezo. And then everyone can call me Master Jaylyn.
You can get real bills now.
That last paper was 20 pages, yeah?
Yep, 20 pages.
What on earth did you fill that thing with?
Some interviews, some literature reviews. Yeah, had to really get the fingers going with the typing, just whatever I could think of at the moment, just threw that in there.
Yeah, and I haven't actually watched this game at all. Well, I've watched it back, but I haven't watched this version of it. But I'm assuming if there's commercials and stuff, we just talked through all those. So don't worry if you're seeing it. We're all seeing it.
Got it.
So right there, that was a black screen. That was a little awkward, but it's all good.
I
did too for a second. Jaylyn, I guess first of all, there's when you're covering senior day and you're watching players get ready for their last home game or whatever. It really is an emotional day. There's a lot that goes into it, from the family element to it, from the players and everything. And then you guys know there's going to be a ceremony afterwards and whatnot. And I mean, I think Carly's group, Carly, Sarah, and all of them, they lost their senior day game against a Butler team that they were better than because of, I think, all those emotions kind of got the best of them. How did you go into this game? Were you all right? Were you starting to get a little bit sad before the game, or did you handle that okay?
I don't know if it'll show you here in the starting lineups, but I actually started crying during starting lineups. So yeah, I was really trying my hardest not to. Everyone that knows me knows I'm pretty emotional. So you walk into the locker room and the team does stuff decorates the locker room, gets us little gifts, writes different stuff, little notes on this poster board type thing. So you walk into that first off. So you're already all right, I can't read any of this. Got to get ready for game mode. Here we go. I'm talking to Liv right now. I'm don't cry, Liv. And she's I'm not. You might though. I'm yep, you're right. So
you were not.
I was just sitting there by myself. No. So I throw the t-shirt and I come back and I start wiping my tears and I'm all right, I need to lock it in. Yeah. Very, very emotional time, but it was bittersweet, wanted to finish strong.
Oh, there you are wiping your tears for real. That's true.
Yeah, that is accurate. I remember.
Oh my God.
I literally look at Liv and I'm I got to get it together. She's laughing at me.
I love that. I love that honesty. Everybody's normally a player would be yeah, I was a little emotional, but I handled it okay. You are a mess right now.
Oh no, I'll rat on myself and tell people I'll be the first person to cry for sure, in a good way.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's you're back there. You're locked in now.
Still seeing the Big East panel or the Big East thing? The hold screen?
What's that?
Are you guys still seeing the hold screen for Big East?
No. Did your thing not start? Right now, there's a Georgetown player getting a drink of water.
Yeah, it's definitely not happening on mine.
All right. Well, we're at 4:50. We're about 5-minute mark right now.
Okay, because mine keeps the Big East logo screen up until like 10 minutes.
What version are you watching? I don't think you're watching the right version.
Oh God, help.
Go to all right, we'll get Chev caught up here, but go to Creighton. Creighton uploaded a bunch of greatest games on their website. Do you know what their YouTube page is?
Oh, it's no wonder. Help.
Yeah. So like go to that, find the Georgetown game. It should be an hour, 48 minutes. Click on that, and then when you're ready, yeah, I sent everybody the link to it.
You sent it to me, and I just assumed it was on Big East.
No. See, Jaylyn, that turnaround jumper right there, I don't know if you felt it then, but like when you hit that thing, I was like, oh, she's going to go off today.
That's what Liv told me. She was like, right when you hit that first one, like, I knew something was about to happen.
I swear, it was crazy because you hit it like so smooth and so fast, like the turnaround and everything, and cashed it. And I was like, it's funny because John Schreiner was on the call for this game, doing play-by-play, and he came up to me before the game. And I think you needed like 25 points to average 20 for the year or something like that. Glen probably knows.
You needed 27.
Yeah, there's another cash money from 3. And he was like, you think Jaylyn's going to get 27 or whatever it needed to be? And I was like, yes. Like, I was just so – because first of all, I was like, I don't think Georgetown could guard you all that well because you lit them up in the second half in D.C., and I felt like it was going to keep more of that was going to happen. But then that first jumper, there was just something about the way you moved on that first jumper. I was like, oh, she's going to cook today. So Liv said that too, huh?
Yep. Liv with her basketball mind.
Yeah, Liv is really good at that.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, I'm on. Sorry, what is the minute mark?
All right, so now it's 5-2 with 8:28 something left. So basically, we're at 7:15 on the runtime of the video.
All right.
20 now. I don't know where you're at.
Well,
So you guys just keep rolling, and I will.
Yeah, we'll find a moment to get caught up here at a stoppage or something.
Yeah. But this game, one thing about this game, we could not stop Taylor Barnes and Marvelous. That was as much as we were scoring, we were not doing so hot on the defensive end.
Yeah, Georgetown was interesting. Like, with our scout, so they had shown where they would not switch, and then games where they would switch. So their philosophy defensively was like very I don't want to say the word erratic, but it just changed game to game. So we went in thinking we could get a lot of good shots just off screening and based off their miscommunication, but then they just decided not to switch early. So that was an adjustment we had to make.
That's the other thing right there I love about Jaylyn as a player. Like you mentioned earlier, you are super honest. And if it's out on you, you'll just go ahead and walk away. And if you're not sure, you'll kind of just throw your hands back and look at the ref, go, I don't know, is it off me?
Oh, yeah, I'm usually honest in that aspect as well. Cash, Tatum, boom.
Nice.
Remember that one.
Hey, speaking of the defensive end, I guess you guys really put a lot of emphasis on that in the offseason before this year started. And obviously going through non-con and even into the first maybe couple weeks of Big East play, you guys were pretty salty on the defensive end. Like all those improvements that you made in the offseason were paying off. And I just wonder how much of Tatum's knee injury right before Christmas and Jaylyn dealing with the concussion for a few weeks and Rachel with the knee. How much of that, because those are 3 really tenacious defenders between the 3 of you. Like, how much of those injuries did throw things off in terms of your guys' defensive continuity towards the end of the season?
had actually talked about it. Our defense, like literally when Tatum went down with her knee, pretty much. Our defense we lost that kind of grit and intensity there for quite a bit. And so we realized that we were going to have to get that back if we wanted to, keep winning games and go far in the Big East tournament and then eventually NCAA tournament. So before this game, obviously we had Villanova, which we played good defense on them. And we had before also. So we had to just really lock in because, like I said, we had gotten kind of out of that mindset of being that gritty team because we didn't have one of our main, like you said, grit type of players out there with us. So we had to make that adjustment. But we talked about it as a team with the coaches, and so we knew we were gonna have to get back to that to be successful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it really stood out to me the most against St. John's. I mean, our kids obviously did a good job, but when you lose a player like that, not even just on the defensive end, but having to have Timmy play, point guard and have some of our younger kids, like Didi had to play quite a bit more in that game. And then you're asking for kids who are, out of position, but not only that, just young, to commit to a scout, and that's not easy, especially with how we guard. So when you switch everything, that means you have to know everyone that's on the scouting report. So losing that experience for that bit of time was pretty big.
That's a tough shot.
Yeah.
Stay down.
That was
I know. Those are the ones where I'm like my hand is right. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive I tipped that ball also.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was out of bounds.
Yeah.
That was a good roll by Michael, though. I like her skills. If she can figure out how to score more efficiently down low, she's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, she's obviously great in the defensive end in terms of her length and being able to rebound and be strong against those tough post players. So, once that offensive side comes, she'll be good for sure.
Yeah, she was impressive. She was impressive from the standpoint of just being able to translate a scout, as a freshman. She obviously made, freshman mistakes here and there, but defensively, for the most part, she was locked into, a lot of the details that usually freshmen don't.
Mm.
And the thing with Michael too, she is not afraid to ask a question, which is great. She'll, whether that's practice or, when we are going through scout, asking, either us or a coach, other upperclassmen, by us, or a coach, which is super great because, sometimes as freshmen, you're a little nervous or, don't want to be that one to ask a question, but more power to her because I probably scared the little thing, but that's how you learn. So, props to her for always willing to learn and figure out what she needed to do.
Well, Jaylyn, your freshman year, you were with Maya, and then so, luckily for Jaylyn, she had Maya Melman and Marissa Janning, and those guys asked the most questions. Shout out to those two if they ever watch. But there were no questions to be asked with those guys on the floor.
That's for sure. Marissa used to ask a ton of questions in practice.
Yeah.
Even sometimes as an upperclassman, you think back when you're even if you're confused about something, oh, the underclassmen are definitely confused. So you have to ask the question, even though you might have an idea, but you're just so everyone can get on the same page, just throw one out there, Yeah. So you gotta think about that too.
What some of those guys would do is they would pick after the hardest drill or in the midst of one of the hardest drills of practice. They just happen to have all these questions all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, this is convenient.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's veteran savvy right there.
Not gonna lie, I've done that once or twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing with Michael is I don't think I've ever been around somebody, and I know it's like, I say that like I've been doing this a long time, but it's getting close to a decade, so I feel like I can start aging myself a little bit. But someone who's just so visual in terms of how they learn, because I don't know if anybody knows this, but there were times where I walked into like a pitch black gym, just whether I'm leaving or dang Jaylyn, where I'm leaving or just coming there to do some work or whatever and trying to find a quiet spot, and she's literally on the court in full practice gear, pitch black, like 2 hours after you guys are done, and she is just like going through the motions of everything you guys taught her, like positioning on the block, positioning on setting screens for nobody. Like there's nobody there with her. She's by herself. And there were multiple times this year where I walked in the gym and saw her doing that, and like with no lights, nobody around. She's still in her practice uniform, and there's just nobody in sight, and it was crazy. Like, so she's incredibly cerebral, and if the skill set catches up to that, I think she's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I totally agree. She's unique in that she will go and work on something that isn't fun, isn't. And she's a perfectionist to an extent. And so there are multiple times that I can think of in practice where you say something, and once you actually physically go out there and show her, she's gonna get it right for the rest of the time. So you're right, like she's super visual. She has to like feel herself do the motion before she gets it, but once she gets it, it's she's got it down. But yeah, she's unique, man. She's gonna be as good as she allows herself to be. Like you said, that skill set catches up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of those times it was like, she seriously spent 15 minutes working on like ball screen footwork. Mm-hmm. And she's not the ball handler, so she's just working on footwork of like setting the ball screen at the right depth where you guys like them. 15 straight minutes of that, where she came out from the post and like tried to get her feet right. It was unreal. I've never seen anybody do that before.
Yeah, she's a student. Like I love that kid. She's like that in life too. Like she's very particular about how she, goes about things. So I think it's going to translate really, really soon.
My bad, Glenn. Did you have something?
I was just going to make a comment. It speaks to your ability to get into buildings that you're not an employee, you don't have a badge, and somehow you get into dark buildings on campus. So credit to you, and maybe we need to increase our security a little bit. I'm just saying.
I've been saying you guys need to increase your security for the whole time, so don't even blame me for that.
Not blaming.
Well, it's better than what it used to be. I mean,
yeah, it is.
For the safety of the players, I remember my first year playing in Ryan was the first year it was open. Okay, so Steve used to have us freaking go in the back in order to get into the building. So if it was like nighttime and we had to get in there, it was so scary. Like, so finally I sent him an email. I'm like, hey, there are weird people out here. Like, why do we have to go through the back?
For real?
Yeah, he was. You edit that part out?
Nah. It's all staying. There was one time. You want a really crazy story? There was one time I was coming out of there at like 1:32 in the morning or whatever, and my car was parked like right outside the entrance to like study hall staircase, the championship center.
Yeah.
So I was like walking to my car, and there was like this dude was drunk as all get out, and he just walks up. And I'm like at my door on my driver's side, and I like have it open, and I'm about to sit down and get in, and he just starts like asking me questions and like talking to me. Chev, Jaylyn, Glen, I swear to God on everything, I was talking to that dude for 2 hours. with my door open, just chilling there, like because he was not giving you the out. He just kept segueing into more random conversations, and I didn't want to be like super rude. So I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, yeah."
nice.
And I was sitting there like it's like 4 a.m, and I'm like, "This dude won't shut up." It was crazy. I thought I was gonna be there until the sun rose. I swear.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit of karma there, Matt, because I think some of our athletes may feel that way when you've talked to them.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
If we ever end up talking about the freshman class as a whole, I have a story about Liv. Liv's mom dropping her off on her first day by herself in Omaha.
Oh, man. Oh, wait, I think I know the story, too.
I'm sure you do. It was nuts.
Gas station?
No, it was right in front, right in the doors.
Oh.
Well, you've teased it enough. You might as well just let it rip.
All right, here we go. So, like I said, it was Liv and her mom. She's dropping her off. I think it's for like the summertime access. So it was like the first day. It's like a really cute goodbye. They're sitting in that little car, that like cutout area, 15-minute parking spot right before you get into the ticket entry. So I'm like holding the door open in that doorway, okay? And like they're hugging and seeing Liv off, and along the way there's this guy walking up. Okay, he's got a flannel on, a button-up flannel. It's open. All right, he's got some black jeans on, and they're like sagging really low, no underwear.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, I see this train wreck happening slow motion. So I'm like thinking in my head, like, all right, let's go, speed it up so she can get into the building.
Yeah, so the parents are like, what am I dropping my kid off at?
So he's coming, and it's like taking forever. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to say? So Liv is starting to walk up. Joyce sees the guy, and he stops, towards the middle of the little area before you get to the steps. And he's like, hey, do you know where the Lydia house is? And I'm terrible with directions. Okay. So this is like 6 years ago. I'm awful. And so I just point a direction. I have no idea. I'm just trying to like make the situation go away as soon as possible. And he's getting closer. And if you want the visual, it's the pants are sagging low enough to where you can see good amounts
Oh my God.
of what's going on. It's like,
Jesus.
I will never get that picture out of my head, and I will never forget that moment, because I'm like, yeah, Joyce is trusting us with her daughter. This is the last thing she sees before she drives back to Peoria.
That must have been a hell of a recruiting pitch to last over that one. I'm pretty sure I would have grabbed my kid, but no. Something wasn't said here.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's hilarious. There are people like that, though, that always ask questions, and like before you know it, you're just stuck in one of those conversations. It's like,
yeah. Carly's been stuck in a few of those.
Really?
If you ever get her back on there, you gotta ask.
Holy Jesus, Peyton.
Oh yeah.
You ever just see her just destroy that kid?
Yeah. She showed some really exciting flashes this year. I mean, we know what her potential is, but
yeah.
It was nice to see her end of the year.
All right, Jaylyn, at the end of the first quarter, you've got 10 points in this game. Is in your mind, are you thinking this could be something, or at that point, is it just another game?
I like rarely look up and see that like how many points I have or whatever. But for some reason, like that day I did, and I was like, like that's 10 points in the first quarter. Like that's pretty decent, like one of those. And so, I was like, yeah, like ball's going in, like just keep shooting, whatever is working, But it was at halftime where everyone's like, dude, like you got to do it. I'm like, I'm going to try, like whatever happens, But yeah, after the first, I was like, ball's going in, like we'll just see how the rest of it goes. So yeah.
Chev, when did you think she was going to do something crazy today?
When she got to 40.
What?
Rude.
It didn't register before that at all?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Like, part of me, I overthink. So I was thinking at halftime, I'm like, gosh, she has a chance to have a crazy night. Because at one point I was like, she's gonna get 50. And I have this thing where I'm like, I overanalyze what I say and how it impacts other people. So I just don't say anything. Like, I was quiet this entire game. Like, I wouldn't say, I mean, I would say, like, you know, generic stuff like, good job, blah, blah, blah. But I remember Linda nudging me. And I think she had like, it was like close to 30 at that point, maybe right at 30. Linda's like, hey, she's gonna beat Connie's record. She's gonna get Connie's record. And I was like, shut up, like, don't say anything, because I'm very superstitious, you know. And it was surprising to hear that from Linda, because she is too. But yeah, I honestly at halftime I was like, if she keeps this up, this is gonna be crazy.
Well,
I remember
I can relate to that, because I thought she was when she was cooking Providence on the road. I was like, oh yeah, this thing.
Oh yeah,
I was like, this thing is a wrap. Like, she's on fire. I mean, everything she touches, they can't stop her. And then all of a sudden, she gets to 38 real quick. I think she had a 3 to start the fourth quarter or something. And I was like, oh yeah, this is like going to be like a couple minutes and she'll be good. Yeah. And then you guys stopped giving her the ball. And I was like, oh man. So she iced her. And then the game was like, it was like a 17-point lead or something. There's no point for her to start cooking then. That's just showing off. So I was like, yeah, it was. So I feel you on the superstition thing, because I thought she had it for sure against Providence.
You're gonna out it. Just go ahead and be real. You sent me a text accusing me of telling Flan to ice her to protect Connie's record, and I'm sitting there going, no, I'm not gonna tell a coach what score. Be honest. After that game, Flan said to me, why didn't you tell me what the record was? And I'm like, Coach, I'm never going to tell you what to do in the game. And then at halftime against Georgetown, 2 different coaches came over to me and checked what the record was. Jenny did, and also Lee did. So twice they came over to make sure what it was. My only regret is that I didn't say 49, so that she could have had 50. Because if I'd have said 49, they'd have fed her all day long, and she'd have got 50.
Yeah. Glenn, when something like that's going on, that's just like a foul situation. You just tell, like, you know, when you're always like, hey, you know, Jaylyn's got 2 or whatever, like when Jaylyn's got like 38 and there's a whole quarter left, you tell people.
Nah. Not my job to create history. My job to record history, not create it.
I do remember Chev and Carly being eerily quiet during this game. And I would like, if I don't like hear from them or something, I like would usually like look at them or like just like see if like they're gonna say anything. And I remember looking at Carly, and she just like gave me this look. I was like, what's that supposed to mean? But she like didn't say anything. So I was like, all right, like just looking out here on an island. No, but it was fine. Yeah, they're funny.
Where were you comfortable at? What's your range? Where won't you pull from, basically?
I'm not a Mitch Ballack logo gal, but you know, like I would say NBA.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, honestly, if your bird was a little bigger, you could pull from the logo.
Yeah. Maybe.
I remember that Xavier game. I don't know if you have to rewatch that Xavier game in a minute, but you were behind their guys line and the NBA line. You were pulling from deep in that game.
Yeah. Sometimes just feeling good that day, you know, especially in warm-ups. You're like, all right, about to shoot this, I guess. But also, what'd you say?
It's all that horse.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say actually. To start out some of our individual workouts, Chev and I'll play pig or horse, and we're shooting all kinds of shots from out of bounds, like random stuff from like once the screen goes back, like the L and like DJ Sokol arena on the side, like different stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely attributed to it, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah, Chev and L for an L, right?
That's right. Don't you miss getting washed by me?
Chev, you won like twice, okay?
Oh my God. I'm glad you two are doing this because I texted or I DM'd Chev. I always say those things are the same, but I DM'd Chev like 2 weeks ago. Remember randomly because I was looking for the game where Linda gamed you guys back in the day. I was gonna try to send it to Joe and see if he would put it up on the archives or whatever. He's like, no. But when I was going through that, I found a box score where Chef went 3 for 26. And I DM'd her. I go, my God, this green light was insane that day. And then Jaylyn, you had it on your Instagram story where you were rewatching the game after or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, Chev, you got to take me through the 3 for 26 game because that's supreme confidence to keep.
I didn't even shoot 20 times in this game. I shot 25.
Right? That's a great.
Easy.
That's an amazing point. Jaylyn shot 25 times to get near 50. What were you thinking at 3 for 26? Like, did anybody else just not want to shoot that day, or what happened?
Let me say this. Okay. First of all, we were in the Quest. What was then the Quest Center? Okay.
Okay.
That's one excuse. And then the second excuse is they'd always freaking throw me the ball with last 10 seconds on the clock.
Dog everybody.
Like, all right.
Chef, do something.
No, that game was awful. That was against Drake. The funny thing is Carly Tritz, I can't remember if she had already committed to Creighton or not, but she was watching and she was like, if he's going to let us shoot like this, I'm coming to Creighton. So, yeah, God. I don't know. The sad thing is a lot of those missed shots were freaking layups.
Really?
So, yeah, being 5'3" and not very strong is a disadvantage for sure.
That looked tiny out there, the game I was watching.
Yeah. LB's on yet.
Also, Chev, you got mad at me for not using my left hand. You wouldn't go on the left side of the floor for nothing. I was like, really not even going over there.
Scouting was very suspect back in those days. No one was taking away my right hand, so I kept going.
Fair.
No, yeah.
And the thing you can say is I practice what I preach, Jay. So
yeah,
keep shooting, right?
Yeah.
With all your weaknesses, and you were like, "Here's what I was bad at. Don't be bad at this stuff."
Yeah.
No, but the announcer did say, she did go 3 for 26 last game, but she kept shooting and something about how you helped your team out by shooting because everyone started rebounding.
Whatever silver lining they found, pull out of their butt.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of it.
I've never seen a line like that. I even like had to go through. I didn't just check that box score. I then went through other ones. Like your media, I went through old media guides to make sure that line was legit, and I was like, 3 for 26.
Hey, I had one turnover.
You did have one. No, that's facts. One turnover is good.
Actually, you had 23 turnovers. Those were the missed shots.
Ooh.
No, you are lying, Glen. You correct that.
What happened there, Liv? Anybody just see her fire off that jumper and the ball didn't move?
Yeah. I know.
I missed that.
This is supposed to be about Jaylyn.
Nah.
Let's critique Jaylyn for the next 3 minutes.
Just look at me.
Can you bend your knees? Can you bend your knees a little bit more, please, here?
Hey, right there. Hand forward.
Standing straight up and down again.
Switching. Talking.
The ball. Can't see the ball.
I didn't see the ball there. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was probably pretty bad.
This is what film sessions are like.
Now, Chef has her list of good stuff and bad stuff. And I will say, your freshman year, a lot of bad. But then, as you get older, it starts evening it out. And then eventually, your good list gets longer than your bad.
Yes. That is.
Hey, though, all kidding aside, though, like, that's one thing I did want to talk about today. I don't know when it started to hit me, but I mean, Chef has a way of making kids cry, and I used to think it was because she was mean, but then I realized it was because she's trying to crack them and show them that they're like that she believes in them and stuff. And I wonder when Jaylyn, when did you start to see the value in her ability to develop you mentally as much as from a skill set standpoint?
My freshman year when I cried to her every day after practice. No, but literally, I think just you can just tell that she cares for you so much. So I don't know, it's just easy to play for someone and listen to someone that has your best interest, and you know that they have your best interest. And it just makes those individual workouts that are tough, or those times when like, yeah, I don't like what she's saying, but she's saying the truth, you know, like really taking that in and like capitalizing on it. And like I said, just knowing that she's doing it for our best interests, and because she cares, just makes it so much better and fun to play for.
You can tell the truth if she's sitting here. I don't really care. But do you think you would have been as good as you turned out to be if it wasn't for her? I mean, there's a lot of people that believed you had a great ability or a great amount of ability, but it seemed like she brought it out of you more than most were able to. Do you feel like you would have turned into the player you turned into if not for her ability to develop you in that way?
No, not close. Someone other day, who was it? They're like, Chev made him what he is today. I was like, she made me what I am today. Like, seriously though, like, I would not be at this point without Chev for sure.
I don't know. I will say this too. Like, I think there was things that we did, but it has a lot to do with how Jaylyn is able to translate, you know, and it's a skill that you can't really figure out until you actually work with the person, you know, because it's not like I'm not doing anything, or people who are working with really good players aren't doing anything different. It's just how that person is able to take that information and actually apply it. And then also their commitment to doing stuff outside of what we're doing one-on-one and what she's doing in a game. So yeah, I think I appreciate that. I definitely do. I think it's awesome, and it makes me feel good. But at the same time, I have to be honest about there are certain kids that sometimes it just doesn't translate, you know, and there's a skill to being able to do that. And Jaylyn has that, and she's, you know, in the classroom, she's a perfectionist. Tracy came and told us this story after her mom came and told us this story after the senior night game, and she's like, yeah, Jaylyn's always been, you know, kind of, she's just kind of crazy about being, you know, good and perfect. And she got her grades back. I think maybe it was your senior year, Jaylyn. I don't know when it was, but Tracy said that Jaylyn just started yelling, I got a B. And I started cracking up because my husband was next to me. I'm like, that is so her, you know. And she's the same way with basketball, you know, like if she had a rough game, like, okay, let's go shoot twice this time, or let's go shoot, you know, like, she's always trying to make up for whatever she feels is a failure or not to her expectations. So that's within itself a quality.
I'm going to say I was actually valedictorian in high school, so I never got a B. But it's probably on like a test or something, or like, I don't know, a test I should have done something in. But yeah, I just had to hype myself up there really quick. But yeah, I'm like a nerd in that aspect too. Like, I remember once school was starting and I cried because I couldn't find my graphing calculator, and I needed it so bad for that class. Because we had like an assignment due or something, and if I wasn't going to have it, then I was not going to get a good grade. You know, simple things.
Wow, three sports star and a valedictorian? You kidding me? Jesus.
We could not be more opposite, Jaylyn.
Right, seriously.
See, give each other, you know, a little taste of the opposite.
There's Rachel in a scuffle again.
Surprise. No.
I was really mad you guys did. I don't know. You guys probably didn't do it, but you released her highlight reel or whatever, her season in review thing that you guys have been doing. and you guys didn't have the tech against West Virginia in there. Like that was literally her first play of the year. Like she came off mono, comes in and gets like into a fight right away. I was like, oh, she's ready.
Oh, great.
The reason they didn't have that is because there was no video shared with us from the Cancun challenge. So there was no way for them to get it.
Yeah, you guys got synergy. I don't want to hear that excuse.
The coaches have synergy, the marketing staff doesn't. And yet again, let's go back to how you have such access because you have synergy and yet our marketing staff doesn't.
I have synergy. You won't believe this, but I have synergy not even from a Creighton person, so that's how far back that goes.
I believe it. I'm just commenting. Somehow one of our beat writers has better access to film than our marketing staff.
Hey man, I told you it makes me smarter.
He's a beast.
I wonder what James Howard's thinking right now. Like, how do I stop this monster?
Yeah, I think it would be absolutely terrible to guard Jaylyn. And obviously because she's good, but our kids do a really good job of screening for her, you know? And that's just annoying to have to deal with guarding a person who's already good one-on-one and then having to fight through multiple screens in a possession. And I think that's where Jaylyn got better over the years is if you watch even this possession, she's moving.
Oh, look at that. Oh, how did you get that in? Jesus.
Yeah. That's also a point where I was like, all right, if that's going in, like, you know.
At this point, I think a couple of possessions before this, I stopped live tweeting the game itself and just started only updating when Jaylyn scored.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even in detail either. It was just a number. It was like 21, 23, 26. Like I was just counting down.
Yep. That was crazy.
But one of the things that's super underrated about Jaylyn, and I think Flan mentioned it maybe earlier in the season, but you don't really have like a statistical context for it, so it's hard to articulate. But I wonder for you, Jaylyn, if you can, like, he always felt like your ability to set up and read screens was as good as anybody he's been around, and I wonder where that ability comes from and how valuable do you think it is in terms of you taking the next step as a scorer?
Yeah, that's, setting up and reading screens is something you have to learn, going into college, especially the way we play. I'm trying to think back to high school. We obviously had screens and stuff, but sometimes I'm trying to think. I don't even know what I was like in high school. But yeah, that's like another aspect of the game you have to learn. So, if you would talk to Chev, you would say she would say that I need to set up screens more, actually, be more deceptive. But that's just one part where I had to grow, especially if I was going to be able to get those shots off. And even now, been watching like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and just how they, are walking this way and like quick turn that way, boom, click that way, a Dennis Rodman. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I had to. But just like that little stuff can be like the half second where you need to get that shot up. So like just learning those little things has helped so much. And like Chev said, like our offense, our team does a great job of screening. They would be I'm going to say annoying, because they would be so annoying about getting me off screens that they wouldn't let me set any for them. And I'm like, no. Like, me and Liv would always get into arguments on the floor. I'm like, Liv, let me set a screen for you. And she's like, no, I'm setting one for you. I'm like, okay, yeah. So, but just learn those, like setting up and reading screens is just like one thing you have to do. And you want to get those shots off and have a quick trigger. Like, you just got to keep getting better and learning to be deceptive and learning different reads and all that type of stuff. It's just a growing process that I learned, thankfully, through the way we play.
Yeah, Liv doesn't like screens because she can't get all saucy with a one-on-one defender.
Yeah, seriously, though. I probably should have thought of that before.
Yeah, she's like, get away from me. I don't want you to.
Seriously. No, I'm serious. We would literally, like, the play would break down or there'd be, like, something, and we'd go to each other, and I'm like, dude, let me set it for you. She's like, no, you can curl it because then you'll be open. I'm like, no, Liv, let me set it. It was so funny.
Great.
That's funny that you mentioned Klay Thompson, though, because I was actually reading, I don't know, one of the WNBA writers or whatever is like super into scouting and watching film or whatever and film study. And that was actually the player comp he had for you when you got picked.
That's good because
Klay Thompson.
that's what we try to emulate, right, Chev?
Oh,
Chevy, a question for you. Going back through your time, both in the Big East and maybe when you were a coach of the MVC or a player, who do you compare Jaylyn to that we've played against? What player is there a comp for?
That's a really good question.
I haven't seen anybody.
I would say, I don't know. I'm like reaching. This is going to be an extreme reach. But do you remember Richardson Smith?
Yeah.
Extreme reach because that kid didn't really play much defense, but she could shoot the mess out of it. She could, when she got hot, it was like impossible to stop her. They did a good job of setting her up for shots. Like, I just remember the scouting report being like, make her dribble, and I would assume if I'm guarding Jaylyn, that's what we're trying to do is just, make her be a ball handler. But yeah, there's not a lot of kids who play on both ends. And that are just at that, because the thing about the other kid is decision making. I didn't think she was as good as she could have been, but yeah, she was a lanky shooter. But yeah, I can't think of anyone.
So my phone messed up. Where are we at right now in timing wise?
We're at halftime. It's 49-35. They're chucking half-court shots right now.
49-35. Okay, I'm about to go to.
Well, that's
Right
the
now,
score.
Yeah, right now John and Rob are doing commentary. They're on the screen.
They're at 46-47, 46-48.
Okay, cool.
All right, let me continue that line of thinking. So if you had to defend Jaylyn, and this is on the fly, but what would you guys have tried to set up if Jaylyn's playing for another team and you have to defend her? What would you put in motion?
Triangle 2 double Jaylyn.
Yeah, for real.
I'm almost not kidding, but I feel like they would figure it out because of screening is such a big part for us. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough because teams that don't switch, like each team has had like struggles. So when you switch, obviously it's better because you keep the coverage, but then you get a weaker defender on you more frequently. But then when they don't switch, it's just like, I felt like she got the best shots when they didn't switch. So, yeah, I'd probably junk it up.
Multiple defenders, face guarder at half court.
Yeah.
Crowder on the 3-point line. She can jab step you to death.
Yeah.
That jab step was your first weapon. I swear that thing was so deadly.
It was. Audrey made a joke on like Instagram or something it's a couple of years ago or something, and it was like jab step 3, and I was like, don't give away my move, dude. Like
that was Jaylyn's first signature move though, jab step 3.
Oh yeah.
You talked about Audrey. Jaylyn, can you put into words what it meant going against her for 4 years and how that helped elevate your game?
Yeah. Obviously Audrey's a great scorer, so you're going in every day at practice having to go against that. So she's either working you or hopefully you're getting some stops, But yeah, just being able to, see how she could score, what I could do to try to stop her, and vice versa, me seeing how she scored and see if I could score that way, stuff like that. We just helped each other in that aspect, for 4 years. And it was even funnier because we were roommates. So then we'd go back and be like, dude, like that left-handed whatever you just had on me today in practice was sick. And then she'd be like, I mean, yeah, but like you blocked me the next play, like stuff like that. So funny. But yeah, I think we just helped each other like in that aspect so much.
I always thought that was so funny how Chev and the coaching staff would want you guys going up against each other as much as possible because you guys were just confidence killers. Like, you kill the whole Big East confidence. Like, I can't imagine what you guys did to each other.
Oh man, yeah, so funny. There's actually, so we'd guard each other in practice, okay? And there was one semester we had every class together and we lived together.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I know Audrey's like sick of me, like every days or like weekends. Audrey's like, I'm gonna go home. I'm like, yeah, I know, you're probably tired of me. Like, I'm sorry.
And you're still friends to this day, which is maybe the most surprising part of that.
Yep, I know.
Yeah, it's really cute. She's in the background of the senior picture on the starting lineups.
Yes. It's so cute. Me and Liv down there, and then Audrey and Allie. And that's like the squad we came in with. It was so cute. Like Liv, actually at the end of the season, like while we were home, like those first couple of weeks, Liv sent me a puzzle of that photo. And so I still have to do it, but I'm gonna like do the puzzle, glue everything together, and like put it up like in a frame to frame it because it's so cute.
That's super
like
cool.
great photo. Yeah. All right, give me time just in case. I don't know where I'm at.
5104.
Yes, I'm like
Right, cool.
behind. I'm good.
It was Liv like to, I mean, she was your roommate for, I think, 3 or 4 years, right?
4 to 5.
Yeah. And she's a unique player, too, because from the minute she got in the gym, I remember there was, like, if I can find an old notebook here, I used to, like, you guys used to do end game situations or whatever, and I would just, like, chart those. And I swear, even from the minute Liv got on campus, she hit so many buzzer beaters in those situations in practice. And I'm just like, this kid has just an odd ability to just hit a big shot.
Yes.
Get
like,
saucy and like create some space and like fade away and bang.
Like at all times. Like when she first started playing, I was like, she plays like a dude. Like that's like when we played pickup the first time, I was like, wow, like that's awesome. And yeah, just like she was so shifty and like I don't even know, but I just remember being like, wow, she's like a hooper. Like you can just tell,
Yeah.
And then they're just
you can tell she like played against guys growing up because
had the moves and like everything. And there'd be like you said, those times like it'd be maybe like a risky shot or something, and just because it's Liv, it went in, like those types of things. There was one, I think it was West Virginia this year, and she took this 3 from like the top of the key on like the left side, and I remember being like, if that wouldn't have gone in, like Livia, I would have gotten mad at you. But just Liv, it went in, like that seemed to always happen to her, and it was so great.
I think one of your favorite games that you mentioned from this season was actually the DePaul one. You didn't play in that one, but I wonder if like how cool that was to like see Liv go off in her in her hometown area and against the top. I think they were ranked 11th. I think it was the highest ranked team you guys ever beaten. I think.
Yeah.
Like you guys were down 20. I mean, you're getting killed after the first quarter, and then she just started going off. Like, what was that like to watch her just be at her best in a game that probably meant a lot to her because of where it was played and everything?
Yeah, I was just so happy for her, like everything she's been through with her injuries and just all of that. Like that's so tough. And like Liv was always like go with the flow, like whatever happens type of deal. And I was just like, Liv, this is like your like moment, dude. Like, like I was just so happy because it just was like the being at home, against the highest ranked team, like, and Liv like literally put us on her back. And just like it was just so awesome, and I was just so happy for her because it was just like a culmination of like everything that she had been through, and it's like all like paid off, like obviously throughout the season, but like especially in that one game at home in front of her family and friends. Like it just made it so much better.
She the toughest teammate you've ever played with, any sport?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say like
She's the toughest kid I've ever covered for sure.
like just like she like however many concussions she's had, and she's out there taking charges like more than anyone. And it's like, dude, like I love it, but I need you to be in the game. So I need you not to take it somewhere else.
Oh man, there are so many moments where I just didn't think she was going to get back up, and then she does.
Yeah,
I can't even. I can't even count them. There's so many.
you like run up to her and she's like, give me a second. You're like, all right, like take your second. As long as you're getting up, that's all that matters. So take that second, you'll be good. But yeah, no, seriously, like she was in a training room every day, like hours at a time, like doing whatever she could to play, like to try to help the team out. So that's like literally the definition of selfless.
Yeah.
And so yeah, definitely
She just loved to hoop.
Yes, wanted to be out there, wanted to help the team, and that's just one thing also that sets her apart is like she wanted to be out there because she wanted to like help us out. You know, she didn't care about like herself or whether it's gonna hurt, but she's like, I just want to be out there to help everyone else. So that just like says a lot about her also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was the master at like that setup, that little flare screen, and getting knocked over for an old fashioned like 5-point possession for you guys sometimes.
I know. I'd be like, Liv, you need to be careful. She's like, just as long as you make it. I'm like, oh,
right.
Yeah.
She got so good at timing that where it would count if the shot went in, and then the foul would count too. Because sometimes if she doesn't time it right, they won't count the shot. Like
yeah, or her like just barely gets a half step in front of someone in charge call, like on the baseline. I'm like, I don't know how you do it, Liv, because half the time you can barely move anyway, but you always get that call.
Seriously. She was unreal.
She's a trooper, man. There was like a time during the season where she honestly thought about being done. She was I'm sure multiple times throughout the season.
Yeah.
She stuck with it because she just, I don't know. I think that's what was special about our team, especially this year, is I feel like our kids really loved each other, like they would do anything for each other. Not that in years past they would not have, but it was kind of exemplified through that, to the fact she's like playing on one leg. So yeah, she was special.
Hi, Kayali.
Yeah, she's a little active right now.
We got a lot of guests on this episode. Yeah, but that's a good point you brought up about how much you guys seem to get along, Chev, because, and I'm glad we're doing this game because you're going to see some examples of it that are just like, what's going on right now? I think Jaylyn hits a 3 at the end of the third quarter or whatever, and you guys just rush the floor. It's like there's a quarter left to go, people. What are you doing? and then obviously when she gets the record, like the whole bench and everybody, like every coach, every administrator, like watch the corner. Brandy's going nuts in the corner. Like, yeah, you could definitely feel it from the outside, that you guys had a lot of, I don't know, just a lot of chemistry and got along great, and we're all on the same page and all wanted to accomplish the same goals and everything.
One thing that gets left out, it should be a compliment to Georgetown as well, because they could have been going nuts and called for us to be given a technical at that point in time, and nothing was given. In Georgetown, James Howard knew what was going on. He knew from the start of the fourth quarter what we were going for, and they didn't have any problem with it. They just let it go. And what they did is they tailored their defense around Jaylyn in the fourth quarter to try and slow her down as much as possible. But they knew what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this was the rumor, but I'm pretty sure that he called the timeout on purpose. I don't know if you guys had already said that.
Yeah. There's that play to start the half, the same one he ran to get rid of the record.
Oh,
back. Yeah.
That was money.
Put that in late, but worked.
Is that just like a little elevator screen on the wing right there, or what is that?
Yep. We fouled a lot also this game.
Really?
Yeah, they're at the free throw line a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, 7. I mean, I think they finished with 78 points. That's a lot for you guys.
Oh yeah, and yeah.
If Jaylyn hadn't been absolutely out of ridiculous today, you guys might not have taken the L.
Yeah, it was rough. It was just one of those games. I think once we realized that Jalen was on the way, everybody just blacked out because we gave up all strong hands.
It was it was just like Doug's senior day. I swear to God, like you're in the second half when you know how close he is to 3,000.
Yeah.
You weren't even watching the score anymore, and so like if you ever go back and watch that game and don't watch it from like Doug's perspective of setting a record, like watch it from the game itself. Bryce Cotton goes absolutely nuts in the second half of that game. And I mean, it was like 88-73. Like that wasn't Creighton did not play good defense in the second half, but it didn't matter because the whole show was about Doug chasing 3,000 and then obviously his career high and everything. He was just going off. That was what the game was about. And that there's a point in this game where like I said, I stopped updating the score. You know what I mean? Because it felt like Georgetown wasn't going to get close enough for it to matter, and it was basically all about Jaylyn chasing Connie. And like, so there's a point where I just stopped even updating what was going on and just started counting up Jaylyn's point total because that's what it just became about that at some point.
Sure. Yeah, I remember thinking like, and I'm usually like this, like shoot it every time she catches it. Just about, but I just remember like get it to her, shoot, like any chance, because like we talked about the Providence game. I mean, did we watch that film a little bit, Jaylyn?
Yeah, we talked about how I let up in the fourth.
Yeah. There were times where she had plenty of space to launch and she didn't, but yeah, so we got to the point where I was just sending Snapchat videos of opportunities that she could have taken advantage of, but. Yeah, like I just remember thinking, I'm like literally watching for her to shoot it. That's pretty much it. And when we give up a strong hand, I'm like yelling about that for a second, and then I'm like, all right, let's get the ball back, shoot it.
That's the other part that shot you just missed right there, in and out. Like that's the other part I tell people about this game that weren't there. I'm like, she had 43, but you don't know how close she was to 60 for real. Because half of your misses were just like.
Yeah.
Just like a little off, like not even much.
Yeah.
Just caught the rim bad or something, like where it just didn't go down.
Yeah, I watched this game a couple other times, and yeah, there's actually a bunch, like you said, that just like went in and out, and sometimes I like think about that and like our workouts, and I'm like, just went in and out, gotta keep shooting, like Chef tells me. I thought that was going to be a charge that play. I was really nervous.
Yeah, that one was pretty close. Yeah. But you're just like in improvise mode basically. It's not just catch and shoot stuff. You're really good off the bounce today. You're really good in the post today. Like all of your like your whole arsenal was on display today.
Jaylyn, one of the things that maybe gets glossed over throughout this year is how improved your free throw shooting was to hit your last 54 free throws in a row. What changed in your approach? Anything, or did they just all start falling?
We did. I needed to bend my knees a little bit more, Chev. Remember we went over that. But I don't know. I think this is free throws. Everyone knows free throws are mental, and so I think just having the confidence to go up there and just shoot and not think about it was one area that I definitely grew in, was like mental toughness and confidence and that stuff. So I think that just translated to my free throw shooting as well.
Got better at, sorry, I'm just commenting on the game, but like that little hesitation, that little slow and go, like I think that as she gets better with that, it's going to be deadly. But there were a lot of times throughout the year where that was like, it's a way big step from where it was. But being able to create her shot at the rim, I thought that improved quite a bit.
there was one time it was whenever Lauren Works was still around, I think, or the year after. And I was with Chev and we were just doing free throws that day, and I made 100 in a row. Like,
Oh, really? Wow.
and she was like, the highest I've ever been was with Lauren, and it was something, I don't even know what it was. But I remember that, and I was like, 100 in a row. Like, I think back, I'm like, it's actually pretty good, you know?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Jaylyn, have you turned down any interviews since the draft at all?
No.
I feel like I've seen you all over the place.
Yeah, I have.
It's like, I mean, honestly, damn good though, because I felt like people missed the boat somewhat.
Yeah.
In terms of the season you had until the last 3 games. Like
Like
that article I wrote on you, that was I know you guys like said you liked it whenever, but honestly, that was like one of the worst things I've ever written because I totally chilled out and just said, people, get your asses to DJ Sokol Arena. Like, what are you doing? I try to like not to go there. I try to be, down the middle with it. And but I was just like it was so frustrating. It was like, dude, this kid is special and no one even like they got like 800 people. Like, what's going on? So I was like, that's why I wasn't crazy about it. But I just had to. I was like, you gotta know.
And not even just like, but just women's basketball in general. Like, if you enjoy the game of basketball, like, you should watch women's basketball because we are just fundamental. We have to be fundamental, and we are. Like, we're the most fundamental. Like, we don't rely on our athleticism or, and so it's like, if you truly enjoy the game of basketball, you should watch women's basketball. Like, just that simple.
No, that was like that's why the Kobe stuff is like super tragic because I felt like he was really gonna take the game to a new level for you guys and open up opportunities that weren't there. Maybe, not only when Chev played, but even when Carly played, like, it just wasn't. It was like an afterthought in most people's minds, and then you start to see from what the league is doing with the WNBA and everything, and how many more opportunities there are for players in this country to make themselves a household name. And that's why that Kobe stuff was super sad because he got it. He got exactly what you were saying about the game. Like he understood the beauty of it and was trying to be an ambassador for its future. So hopefully that someone picks up that mantle from him because I think having NBA players say provides a pretty powerful message because that's normally what you see on like social media, like Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. Whenever there's like a WNBA highlight or something regarding the WNBA, you always get these like dudes, chiming in like with their zingers, like the kitchen and the sandwich and all that garbage. And it's like, I feel like hearing it from a dude who was like an all-time great.
Literally, like,
that's just like, you can't argue with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically shut up. Because if they respect it, you have to.
Yeah. Two things. So in this timeout that's being played, at this moment, Liv was like, all right, everyone. She looked down the bench. She's like, she pointed at me. And she was like, get her the ball. Like, literally, if you would replay this, she's literally pointing at me. Like, we're passing it to Jaylyn. And I'm like, I shake my head. I'm like, Olivia, biggest hype man. But second thing was with, like, I've obviously been watching the Mystics games, especially during this time, like quarantine, I've been able to watch a lot more. And Bradley Beal, like the Mystics and the Wizards are really close. Obviously, Chrissy Tolliver did stuff with them in the off season, was like coaching. But even like Elena Deladon, super close with Bradley Beal and his family, and Bradley Beal and a couple other of the guys. It was finals. I don't know if it was the actual championship like game of the finals or one of the games when they were at home. 3 of them like told the coach, they asked the coach like, hey, we're gonna stay and watch the girls' game to make sure like we can cheer them and then we'll meet you guys wherever we're going. So like they, just for them to like stay and cheer them on, and like it's just so awesome. It's like you said, like the NBA players, realize how good we are also, it's like just because we're women doesn't mean, so I thought that was really cool that they had that connection and that they were tight knit like that also.
Yeah, I think there's just a bond that the sport of basketball has that not a lot of other sports have, because I mean it's the same sport. You know what I mean? Baseball and softball aren't the same sport. They have some similarities, but they're not the same. Men's and women's soccer has that ability, but it's not there yet in terms of respect level between both sides of it. But basketball, I feel like, is one of those sports where it's so unique because you can trash talk as your head off for like 40 minutes, and it looks like you all hate each other. And then when the whistle, when the buzzer sounds, like you all dap each other up, and there's a lot of mutual respect, like it's on the guys and the women's side. Like, and I just feel like there's a lot of overlap with the bond that a basketball player has. Like, you guys are all just hoopers at the end of the day, whether you're a female or a male. Like, it doesn't matter. And I think that's where you see the respect from the NBA players. It's not just because they don't have to do it. They don't have to. They could be just as disrespectful as all the online commenters if they wanted to be. But I think they just get it because there's a respect in being able to, and that the game that just permeates throughout the game. That I think it's a bond that everybody has, no matter if you're a man or a woman.
For sure.
And they get it. Because honestly, the league you're walking into now, like, it's as good as you are. I'm not sure if you have this opportunity a few years ago, even. You know what I mean? Like second round draft picks, like that. That just doesn't. It's like, and it's not like it's not going to be tough to make a team still, but I mean, the opportunities that are there now, because of what the NBA players have done to help grow the game, and because of the visibility of it and the respect that everybody has for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason that you have the opportunity that you have.
For sure.
And Chevy tell you you're good enough to do it. That helps too, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Everyone.
When did you think she was like league good, Chev? When did it first hit in your mind?
Oh man, that's tough. I don't know. Like, I think we had that interview from a while back ago. Like,
yeah.
It was all about mentality. Like talent wise, I've always thought that, I would say probably after her freshman year, I felt like, if she kept on that same trajectory, she would be able to play in the league. And I was watching a little closer because my friend plays in the WNBA. So, the more you watch the league, the more you realize, me and Jaylyn were actually just talking about this today. There's a lot of players with gaps in there, like it's like the NBA is on another level. Like, all those guys can do everything just about on the roster, whereas WNBA is still like, there's still some opportunity in there. If you're not, perfect. So I don't know. Like, I would say after her sophomore or after her freshman year, and then after that, it was just about getting over the hump of the mentality side. And, you talked about Audrey earlier. Audrey was hard on herself. And Jaylyn, like she said, they were together all the time. So I'm sure they were just feeding off each other all day.
Yeah.
So we'd be in practice and like literally first shooting drill that we've even gotten in, like they're cold as ever. Like, of course you're going to brick some shots, and they're in there like F-bombing themselves. Like, it's just so unreasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the mental thing was the biggest question I had. And this year she obviously was able to get past that.
Yeah. Nice finish there, geez.
Little lefty, see, Chev?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get a little slide at the end too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a handful of lunch bets on Jaylyn getting drafted. So.
Nice.
I was
Shout out to the doubters. Tell me who they are.
I think there's bits and pieces of it first started. Honestly, like, I was surprised. Your freshman year, I never used to like question. The coach was like, "What are you doing?" But I know in my mind there were several points in your true freshman year where you were redshirting where I was like, why aren't they using this kid? Because I was pretty sure that was the year, I think 15, 16, if I'm not mistaken. Like Marissa got hurt, Bree got hurt. You guys were kind of hovering around 500 or whatever. I'm just like, why is Jaylyn redshirt?
I needed it.
I think I know. I think the first couple things that registered for me that I felt like you had a chance to be pretty special was your footwork defensively was pretty unique for a freshman. Like you clearly had athleticism that not a lot of kids have. And then there's also a bunch of like, because I just thought you were an athlete coming out of high school. Honestly, I didn't know you were. Like that. I didn't know what type of skills from a basketball standpoint were there. So I thought there was like a little bit of a raw element to your game. But there's for people who don't go to like women's basketball practice or whatever, they basically like they go and they practice and then they do their scout, which is basically like Flan on one side of the court, kind of like talking through some things that they've gone over on film. And I'm not gonna lie, it's super boring. There have been times I've straight up fallen asleep during that. Or I'm seriously on the bleachers or at the scorer's table, like nodding off.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's why I love, like scout. It's like, yep, that's why, because they're sitting over there like.
I'm not gonna lie. But Jaylyn got lucky as a redshirt freshman. She got to go and like work on skills at that point. So basically, like she would go down, and I think she'd either be with Carly, who was I think a grad assistant at that point, or whoever, and like she would just shoot. And so to stay awake, I just watched her shoot instead of when the scout got pretty tedious. And I was like, oh man, she's got a good jumper. She might be something. If that thing translates to game situations, like look out, people. And then I think it was like somewhere during your sophomore year, maybe after the Northern Iowa game. Remember the double overtime Northern Iowa game? Remember that one?
Yeah, because I do remember this because MC passed it to me at the top of the key. I took the last shot. I had to take the last shot because MC had it and was like looking to pass it, and there's 3 girls around her, and I happened to be the one open, and so she passed it to me and I shot it and I missed it. And I just remember that because I remember being like, well, I gotta check this one.
Of course Jaylyn remembers that, by the way. What she didn't mention was that she had 26 and 14. And I was like, that was the first night where I was like, before she's done, she's going to be, whether she gets drafted or not, someone's going to take a look at her. And it wasn't long after that where I started betting people that you were going to get drafted. And then the first time I tweeted it was the Iowa game that year in the NCAA tournament because you lit them up. And I was like, if she, because then you're doing it at the NCAA tournament stage, and that's usually like there's levels to it, like you can do it in the regular season, then the Big East is another one, and the Big East tournament is another one, and then the NCAA tournament is like the lights just get brighter every stage. And when you did that to Iowa in the NCAA tournament, I was like, yep, she's a leaguer.
That was a fun. That was one of my most fun games I think to be a part of. Everyone was just so hyped that game. And the fact that it was Iowa, they'd beaten us like in the preseason, and it was like revenge mode times 1,000. It was so great. It was so fun. Like even like Sydney Lamberty got hyped. And it's like that's when like everyone's like it's like Sid is so even keel the entire game, like every other game. But she was so hyped that game, and it's like everyone's on 10 then this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she had 9 straight points in the fourth quarter or something like that.
Yeah, she's balling.
And she was and then she was just she hit an and one or something, and there's a fist pump and a scream, and it's like, oh dang, what's Sid doing?
It was lit.
All right, here comes Jaylyn Magic right here.
This is my pass. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wish.
Oh wait. So when did this happen? I thought it happened in the third quarter.
Happens in the middle of the fourth quarter, actually. Right now, she has 36 points going into the fourth. But
I know, but I missed I thought you guys mobbed her already. I must have missed it.
Oh yeah, it happened a little earlier.
Oh, okay.
She hit
My
that
bad.
three.
My eyes were down for a minute. My bad. But yeah, that's just like how. Look at that. Look at Dee Dee.
She was like,
Dee Dee's the best dancer on our team.
Is she?
She will be for the next 3 years. So
No matter what, you're not giving anybody a chance. Huh?
no, nope, no one else.
maybe Carly Bachelor.
Yeah. Man, so great.
I don't
Yeah,
know. We got some good athletes coming in who might be able to dance.
No.
Glen, you can probably beat her.
That is never, ever gonna happen.
You were talking about her redshirt freshman year, but yeah, like the thing is, the way to Flan's heart is threes. You know, he likes kids who can shoot threes, and so when she redshirted, like that year was so weird because we were so heavy at the perimeter. You know, like we had MC Lauren and it was just like, yeah, we know Jaylyn's gonna be able to play. She's super athletic, so her ceiling's really, really high. So we kind of debated for a long time, and Liv and her were supposed to redshirt together.
Yep.
But you know, it just seemed like at that point that when we struggled and when Marissa got hurt, it seemed like Liv was the next best option just because she was more aggressive offensively at the time, and so yeah, that was a weird spot because there were multiple times where we had meetings about pulling Jaylyn out of the red shirt. So yeah, it was a tough choice, but I thought it was really good for her development everybody did, but one of the things that we talked about was all we're going to do is shoot threes. You know, we work on footwork and all that, but I just remember when Carly would do stuff and like I'd be like, just threes, like all threes, that 20 minutes of scout that we do every day, like it's just the compound effect of it. I mean, and Jaylyn was already a good shooter coming in. Like I think she shot like 40% from the three in high school. Yeah, but she didn't shoot them a lot, or at least I didn't think he did. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of threes her redshirt year.
Mm-hmm. There was one thing that stuck with me that Chev said. I don't know if you remember saying it, Chev, but we were sitting down for that story this year, and you were talking about her ability to immediately translate whatever you tell her, like how quick it is with her, how it registers and everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And it became super apparent that she had that ability. I think it was that sophomore year because I'm trying to think. Did you guys play South Dakota on the road that year? I can't remember. Yeah, because you played them at the home as a junior. Yeah. So you played at South Dakota. You played at Nebraska. But I remember there were a couple points in the year where I was talking to Flan after practice a couple times, and it wasn't like anything I was going to use. We were just talking about the team, you know what I mean? And I think before the South Dakota game, he was like, yeah, I just got in Jaylyn's ass because she doesn't shoot enough or whatever. And she's got to be more shot ready, and she's got to pull when she's got even a little bit of space because she's a special shooter and she doesn't realize it sometimes. And I think from that South Dakota game on, you were just like, you became basically a 3-point specialist. And then there was a point in the year where you guys weren't rebounding very well as a group. Oh, that would have been dirty if that went in. Where you guys weren't rebounding very well as a group. And again, I think Flan told me, he's like, yeah, I just kind of challenged Jaylyn to be a better rebounder because she's super athletic. She's long. She's versatile in terms of the position she can play. So we need more out of her from a rebounding standpoint. And I think you seriously averaged like 12 boards a game over your next 5 games. I'm not even exaggerating. It's pretty close to that. Like you had 3 double doubles for sure. And and when Chev said that when we were sitting down for that interview this year, those were the moments I definitely recalled, because all you needed to basically was like just a little bit of tough love thrown in with a very specific basketball piece of advice, and it clicked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a point with your parents at all growing up, or anything you can remember in high school or not, but do you know how that ability to take a piece of advice and translate it into productivity, when you first realized you kind of had that ability to do that, or be a quick learner?
I remember my dad would always say, like, I think I don't know what the exact thing was, but it was like, I'm telling you, like, for your best interest. So, like, you can be mad at me, but like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, I might like say my voice might be raised or something, but like, I'm doing it to help you, And so I had my summer coach in like middle school, a little into high school, Antoine Scales. He just got the job at Garden City Community College, I believe, in Kansas. But he was like that too. Like, he would tell us like it is, and if you were upset, like, he'd be like, "That's fine, get upset with me, but like, it's you got to do it, or you won't play, blah blah blah." So it's like you have to learn early on, like, someone's gonna yell at you, sure, but just fix it, and they'll stop yelling at you, like simple stuff like that. But yeah, those two, I think. I have a funny story about Antoine, actually. Like, when I wouldn't shoot, similarly to my freshman and sophomore years, or I wouldn't attack the basket or something, he'd be sitting on the sideline with like arms crossed, and they would call me, my nickname was Jelly, and he'd be like, "Jelly, let's go, like, let's show up, Jelly." And I'm like, shoot, like, all right. So then I would do it the next play down, and literally, like, down the sideline, he'd be like clapping, like, "Way to show up to the game, Jelly." And I'm like, got it. Like, that's like my favorite story to tell, because that's so him, but like, he's doing it to help me, like, I'm like, yeah, like, gotta get on me, that's fine. Like, I always told Flan, like, if Flan yells at me, like, I would much rather enjoy someone yelling at me and teaching me versus not saying anything to me, So it's like, just tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it, even if you have to yell, those types of things. So
I don't know. I think it was the Marquette game where you said we talked about it afterwards, but he got it into you at halftime, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 'Cause I think what's her name, Spingola, hit a couple threes against you or whatever, and maybe a couple defensive assignments were missed or whatever, and he kind of got into you in front of the team. And then he comes over as you guys are shooting right before the half starts, and he tells you he loves you, and you were just like, you were like, "I know, but it's all good. You can, let it stew a little bit or whatever." But I think what you said was, like, in that moment, what you do and what you hope younger players understand is that it's not the delivery of the it's not the volume of the message, but it's the message itself that's important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think, when you're talking about your ability to translate things like that, I think your ability to focus on the what and not the how it's being delivered to you is important in that regard. I think that's what you are really good at.
Yeah, I haven't ever minded being yelled at. Like I said, I am emotional. Like, that's another hump you have to get over. But like, you need to get in me, especially like that game against Marquette. I was like, yeah, like, you're right. Like, I was not up in her grill. Like just lay it on me, because I need to hear that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's almost like, it's like reassuring that he can see that too. Like, you know what I mean? No. So yeah.
Yeah, Flan was really good about not. I mean, in part of it is Jaylyn's ability to handle criticism in front of the team. You know, because some kids you can't do that with because they don't respond very well. But he would a lot of times get on Jaylyn, and his intention is to get on the entire team. You know what I mean? He would kind of use her because if she's our best player and she's getting yelled at that way, then what makes anybody else different? You know.
Yeah.
I felt like Flan did a really good job of picking the moments when to use Jaylyn. You know, so
That
I
is a
thought
disgusting shot.
So Jaylyn, you just hit 38 points, and you said that your team had told you they're going to feed you the ball nonstop. How do you keep your mind right knowing that you're approaching history?
Yeah, it's tough, you know, especially, you know, all the talk with like the next points I have are free throws, and all the talk with the free throw thing, and like, you know, something like laugh about it because you're like, if I get too stressed and I miss these, like I'm gonna be pissed, you know. It's like so like that's also in the back of your mind, you know, and you just gotta like let it go, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, whatever. But yeah, you just gotta just keep playing through it. There was some free throws earlier in the game where like Liv and I said something to each other before, and I like was like laughing at the free throw line, and I was like, that just, like it just like helped me like get that off my mind, you know. Yeah, see, there's a couple times where we're like trying to get it to me too much. We start turning it over.
Like, no, I'm not open right there. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like it is in the back of your mind, but you just got to keep playing still, you know.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised you give that ball up right there. You instead of just bringing it down yourself, you get it right back though.
See, look, everyone was standing when I got that. I'm like, she was all over my girl. I'm not going to shoot that.
Look at Liv. She's just like, where's Jaylyn at?
I know. You really see there we go right there. See, I'm saying, like, I think everyone's like, all right, like.
She's not even like looking at the rest of the court. She's just looking at you.
No, seriously. Liv was like trying to do it so bad for me. She was like trying to do me so much. I'm like, Liv's like the ultimate hype man. I swear. Like, mine.
The turnovers we had trying to get the ball to Jaylyn is probably crazy.
You know, I think what's funny about the free throw streak. Oh, dang! Get that out of there. What's funny about the free throw streak is I think you obviously went perfect today, and I think you were 50 for 50 to end the year or something like that. But this was the day that the Nebraska men's team went 8 for 30 against Northwestern at the free throw line. And I was sitting there, and they played after you guys, so I'm just going through the timeline. And they're in overtime, so like these 22 misses are big. Every single one of them is a huge miss. Like, and they just keep clanking them. I think they missed at one point like 17 out of 19 or something like that. It was absurd. And I'm just like sitting there, and as soon as their game was over, I just fired it off, and I was just like, I think I quote tweeted one of their beat writers. And I was like, Jaylyn Agnew since early December, 50 for 50. Nebraska today, 8 for 30. It was just absurd.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I remember that.
I mean, as awesome as 50 for 50 is, 8 for 30 seems a lot harder than that.
Yeah,
I don't know how you missed that. Free throws as a team.
Yeah.
Oh, that one almost went too.
Here's these free throws to get to 40. So it's like.
This is where they show your parents. This is where they show your parents. And I think your dad's like super nervous looking.
Well, and it's like, well, they don't make these like senior day.
Yeah,
like,
look at it. He is. Look at him. He is nervous.
Mama's checking the score.
Well, you don't take a lot of time with your free throws, Jaylyn. I mean, you just get the ball, and there's some people have a very deliberate style. You just get the ball and put it up and let it fly.
I actually have like a kind of unique not routine in general, but like the way I position the ball. So I have like 3 dribbles, kind of sometimes spin it, like half spin, whatever. But I actually like put my middle finger on like the like needle hole and make an L. And that's how I like position the ball to shoot it. It's kind of weird, but my dad taught me when I was younger, so I just kept it.
All right, Jaylyn Agnew.
Yeah, because then like you're with the seams, you know, and it just goes.
All right, you're about to get this here, I think, in the next like 40 seconds or so. They're going to set that same elevator screen for you that they set at the start of the half.
Mm-hmm. That play.
It might not be on this possession. I think it's coming up, though.
Do you want me to ruin it for you and tell you what it is, or no?
No, we know. Oh, you almost got it there, too. Jeez. That's what I'm saying. Your misses weren't even that bad.
Yeah, it's called a good miss.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. We need to go back and watch that 3 for 26 and see how many good misses were in there.
Yeah. That's my goal in this quarantine, is to find that game. Here we go. I think here's
here it comes.
Bang out.
Bang.
Oh.
Look at the bench. I think my favorite part was Linda, because Linda never celebrates a damn thing.
He was crazy this game.
And she went nuts too.
He was nuts.
What was this moment like with the I mean, you're just getting mobbed right here. There's 4 minutes left.
Yeah. It was just crazy. Like, it was just so fun. And like Chev said, like, we just like all love each other so much that it was just, I was so happy to share it with them too, you know? So, but the funny thing about this, I never like do anything after, like, I never celebrate anything. And this one time I had to do like the ice in the veins thing. Like, I had to do it this one time.
That was legit.
Liv, we were talking about it before. Like, I don't know. We were talking about something and how we like never cheer, or like celebrate or anything like that. And it was maybe like at that halftime or that timeout or something, or somewhere on the floor. She was talking about it. She's like, "You got to do something." Like, dude, I still got to get it first. I did. She was laughing along with me.
This time out, Flan sits down, so we're all like obviously happy. And Flan sits down, he's like, Connie's upset, you know? So funny the way he said it.
Did Connie say anything to you in the game at all, Jaylyn?
Yeah, so like right when we went over there, she like gave me a hug and was like, "Oh, Connie," like it was so sweet. But it's like, sorry I had to do it to you, Conrad.
That's what I mean, though. Like, look at this game. Like, it's all about this moment, it feels like. And obviously, this is a fun one, too, because I feel like this is one of the best senior days I've seen because of what happens coming up here with Morgan and Liv. Because you guys all got your moment, and it's like, that doesn't happen. You can't, like, script that. The game doesn't just, like, you know, Georgetown's not just going to be like, all right, I'm going to let Liv get a bucket here. I'm going to let Morgan tee up a 3. I'm going to let Jaylyn go for 43. And like the game doesn't just allow that to happen. So I think, like, you know, everybody's caught up right now in celebrating this. And you're thinking as you're watching it, you're like, oh my God, this is really special. And then Morgan tees up that 3, and then Liv gets all saucy and hits that fadeaway. And it's like that, from just a send-off point of perspective for you 3 seniors, I mean, that's going to be hard to top.
Yeah, like in the post game, Glen was like, it was magical. And I was like, literally, that's the only way to describe this game was magical. I don't know what happened, but there was some fairy godmother-ish going on.
Seriously. Chevy, you ever been a part of a senior day where that many like special moments went off in the?
That was my 7th senior night, and that was by far the best one. And Flynn said the same thing. He's like, this was the best senior night I've ever been a part of. Like, it was honestly just, it felt fake, you know.
I know.
It was like this.
It felt super Hollywood, right? Like, it was like, what's going on?
Yeah, like the next day I was gonna be like, that didn't really happen, did it? But yeah, it was awesome. Like, I feel like I blacked out. Because it went by so fast. But yeah, I still can't believe what transpired.
Mm.
It was pretty cool to be a part of. Connie's
You know what? Like Connie loves that too, but she's super competitive. You know, she wants to play you one-on-one after this.
Oh, for sure.
Wait,
All right, Connie.
Connie. Yeah. Yeah. I joke with her, but that she doesn't look like she's trying to smile right there. But I'm kidding. But she was actually really uncomfortable. She had just had, I think it was a surgery. So.
I know, she gave me a hug, and I was like, "Is this okay?" She's like, "Yeah, it's fine." I was like, "All right."
She's like, "Yeah, it's fine. Nothing I can do about it now."
Yeah, seriously.
No, but I've heard crazy stories about how competitive Connie was. I think the old Omaha World Herald people, I think she interned there one year, one off season or whatever. So like all the old writers or whatever used to be like, yeah, she's like a super intense. Even when she's working as an intern, she's super intense.
I bet, man. She's
like there's like a competitive streak in there that you can't shut off.
Yeah. Yeah, we literally would have meetings and, you know, like obviously she's freaking good for a reason. So, but we could talk about ball screens for 45 minutes straight. You know, we could talk about one aspect of footwork. Like she's extremely detailed, and I think the competitiveness is what drives it. Seriously.
She's the reason I asked Bruno, like in that press conference, about your WNBA prospects or whatever. Because normally I wouldn't like. I was kind of nervous about teeing up that question because like, what if Bruno's like, nah, she can't play. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, no, she's got no chance. Then that quote is just destroyed, and there's like no hope for it. Whatever. But I actually had a long conversation with Connie, like maybe a week or two before that, and she was like, "Oh yeah, she's better than anybody I've sent to the league." Like, so that's what gave me the confidence to ask Bruno, because he's a guy who's super long-winded, just like Flan is.
Yeah.
So I just like fired that off at him after. It probably helped that they won that game. If you had like gamed him or something.
Oh, for sure. You've been salty.
You probably been like, yeah, I don't know, she's okay.
Here comes Morgan.
Yeah, here's her moment. They showed her on the bike. They showed her on the bike getting ready.
I literally was like, "We're setting a double." Then they don't. She doesn't get it, and I'm like, "This is about to be the best screen I ever set, so it better work." It wasn't even that great of a screen, but I actually kind of bent my knees, like just a tad, which I rarely.
Did, yeah. Splash.
And she had her hair did, her makeup.
Look how hyped Rachel. Look how hyped Rachel and Jaylyn are.
I had the Naruto run, my arms back. I was so hyped.
You were screaming. I can't believe honestly, I can't believe she hit that as good as she did, because she hadn't shot that thing all year.
Seriously.
Like, if people listening, that's not a joke. She had not shot, like, not even in practice. Like, she was an inactive basketball player because she was in so much pain.
The week before, like this week leading up, like I remember like on Monday, she did like one of the shooting drills with us, and she was like, "Yep, I'm done." Like, oh, I love it so much. It was so great.
Oh gosh.
That's when like as much as what you did was awesome, that was like the predictable part, honestly, because you were that good. But when she splashed that, I was like, this is like Hollywood, because she's like ice cold like all year, and she just all netted that thing. Well, she came out for another one. She's hunting these.
Triple screen, like that's when you know.
Jaylyn did get in a good stance for that one, though.
Grace was like, "Let me get up in this."
Yeah, I was just so hyped for Morgan's. We were like, that was just so lit. There's no other way to describe it. See, like that shot by Taylor Barnes, like, how is that going? You know, like,
I know.
Like,
That's a cool moment for Morgan, though.
Mhm.
I don't think, nothing about maybe what her career she thought could be when she came here went according to plan because she kind of was hurt right away. So that was cool to see her get that moment.
Morgan was great because she fit in. She fit right in. Like, she's so funny.
Hilarious.
She had one of the funniest personalities I've ever, come to encounter with. But she fit in. And she
Here
was really,
comes,
really. All right,
here comes Liv.
Yes.
She did so much to get this shot off, dude. Oh! I mean, seriously.
I can't.
And up and under 3 all net. Are you kidding me?
Literally. We were talking about it, and she was like, yeah, like, the shot clock was going down. I didn't really know what to do, so I was like, well, got a ball fake and just try to get it up. I was like, only Liv.
It could not have been more perfect.
Seriously, though.
Carly's already crying. Look at her. And Jaylyn, of course, is.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Jaylyn's
checked out.
Jaylyn's a hot mess.
Right as we checked out. Couldn't do it. I was surprised I got through my little talk at the end. Like it was like.
Yeah, you didn't break down at all. You did pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't even long. If it would have been longer, it would have.
Yeah, this was such a cool game. I really appreciate you guys sitting down and reliving this because I know it's fresh in your memory. Look at Jaylyn still crying around. And I don't know. Thanks for sitting down and reliving this. I know it was pretty fresh in your memory, so you're probably like, "Why are we recalling this one so quickly?" But like I said, like we've just seen right here, all these magic moments that happen at the end. I don't think it's a senior day I'm gonna forget for a long time. Any sport, seriously.
Yeah, it was special, man.
Yeah. Crazy.
Now you got to get ready. Now you got to get ready for overtime, where you give a speech in front of all these people and try to keep it. Yeah, you go on to win. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, the year you had, it's insane. All of it came together, and it was pretty. I mean, as much as it sucked to have it taken away with the NCAA tournament and whatnot, you still got to witness history this year, and that was pretty cool. So thank you, Jaylyn, for that, and Chef, thanks for your time and everything. Even bringing K. Ali onto the broadcast here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So best of luck, guys. Stay safe. Hopefully we'll keep in touch for sure. And Jaylyn, good luck in the league, kid.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get an Agnew jersey. They're up on the website.
They are.
That's right.